So if you're going to solve an equation by factoring, you have to set the equation equal to 0 first. So that's like the first thing that you have to do. If it's not already equal 0, you have to do that before you do the factoring. Then you have to set each factor equal to 0. And then you solve each factor, or whatever letter it is. We're going to solve each factor. That's it. But the number one thing, I don't know why people forget this part. You have to set it equal to 0 first. Set equal to 0, then we set each factor equal to 0. Oh, I guess there's factor in here. I'm sorry. After you, in order to set each factor equal to 0, you have to factor. There you go. There's 1A. Sorry about that. So you have to set it equal to 0, then factor it. Set each factor equal to 0, solve each factor. Okay? Sorry, totally forgot like the most important step. So number 1, set it equal to 0. Check. See how it says equal 0? Okay. Second is factor it. Go. Trinomial, is there a greatest common factor? No. Solve each factor. Look at my signs. This sign tells me that both signs are going to be the same. This first sign tells me that they're both going to be negative. I know they're both going to start with x. What makes 8? 6 and 3, 9 and 2, 1 and 18. What should we try? When we check that, we do negative 3x, negative 6x. Yes, that equals negative 9x when I FOIL it back together. So there's my first step. Set it equal to 0, factor it. Second step is set each factor equal to 0. That's my second step. My third step is solve each factor. How do I solve this tiny little equation here? We add 6 to both sides. So I get x equals 6. Here I add 3 to both sides. X equals 3. When we write our answers, if we have multiple answers, we're going to put them in set notation, which is a fancy bracket, and we're going to put them in numerical order from least to greatest, from smallest to biggest, from most negative to most positive, or whatever that means. Sorry. Okay, I'm going to skip a couple around. Let's look at number 3. Number 3, is there a greatest common factor? No. We have 2 terms. What are our choices for factoring 2 terms? Difference of squares or cubes? We don't have cubes. Do we have difference of squares? So we're going to have n plus 8, n minus 8. So we factor. Then what do? Set each factor equal to 0. So n plus 8 equals 0, n minus 8 equals 0. Solve each factor. N equals negative 8, n equals positive 8. We write n equals, there's 2 answers, so I have fancy bracket. I'm going to put plus minus 8 because, gosh, why would you want to write 8 twice? That's like a lot of extra work. I guess you can write negative 8 comma positive 8 if you want, but I like to shorthand it. Let's look at number 19. What should we do first? Add the 12, because it has to say equals 0 first. I didn't really leave you guys enough space on here. Sorry about that. 10x squared minus 26x plus 12 equals 0. Now what do I do? Greatest common factor, what is it? So I have 2 parentheses 5x squared minus 13x plus 6. Then we're going to factor this. I definitely have a 5x and an x. I definitely have a minus and a minus when I look at my signs. So my choices are like 6 and 1 or 2 and 3. I'm like just thinking ahead. I'm going to have to multiply 5 by something. So me just thinking ahead, if I put a 3 here, that'll give me a 15. And then if I put a 2 here, that'll give me a, that's, oh, but that's not going to work, is it? Why? Why does that not work? This is literally me making a mistake right in front of you. I mean, I didn't circle it, so I realized I'm doing it wrong, but what's wrong? Why did I do it wrong, Cooper? Yeah, I'm going to have to add these together, and they're both negative, so it'll end up being 17. Now, if one was negative and one was positive, I would have been fine. So I better switch some stuff around. How can I make it? What if I put the 2 here and the 3 here? Will that give me the 13 I desire? Yeah. Okay. But we are solving this. So now we just set each factor equal to 0. What's my first factor? 2. So if I say 2 equals 0, then what's x equal? If I say 2 equals 0, what does x equal? No, equals 0. Okay, so right here, this will not give you an answer. There's no x in it. Plus 2 doesn't equal 0. So not going to use that. But if there was an x out here, I'd use it. But there's a 2 out there. Okay, 5x minus 3. I'm sorry, this is where I don't have any space. I'm going to kind of shorthand this. What am I going to do? Add 3, then divide by 5. What am I going to get? I'm going to get 3/5. And then x minus 2 equals 0. So I'm going to add 2. So I get x equals 2. And then we'll write those in fancy brackets. What comes first? 3/5. Then 2. There we go. All right, so you guys can work on this for a little bit, and then we're going to add on pre-calc. Yeah! Enjoy your Algebra 2 review.